My colleagues inquired about my romantic life, and she casually confessed over dinner that she told them no one, because admitting it was me felt too humiliating. I settled the check and cut off all contact from that moment onward. The same colleagues later witnessed her pleading desperately for me to reconsider. For 5 straight months, my days carried a hidden melody. It was the soft buzz of my screen harmonizing with the faint clicks of her typing just beyond the divider. It was the subtle, mutual glance of exasperation whenever Ted dragged out his endless Monday briefings. It was the quiet alert of a direct message popping up, unrelated to deadlines or metrics, brightening my display. Her morning brew? On me. Mine. Only if you swear not to swipe my stirrer this time. No guarantees, she'd tease. Watch closely in 5. Her name was Qley, and for those 5 months, she remained my closely guarded mystery. To the rest of the staff at Nexitech, we were simply Liam and Qley, reliable team members in the data analysis group. We joined identical conferences, worked on identical datasets, and traded the same courteous, businesslike remarks as our peers. Yet under that calm professional veneer ran a spark that belonged solely to us. I cherished the fleeting touch of her fingers as she handed over a document. The private grin she'd flash when I contributed in a group discussion, a grin loaded with shared secrets meant only for my eyes. Socializing at the office had never been my strength. The obligatory team outings felt forced. But Qley transformed the workspace into something alive. It turned into our private game. I relished the secrecy of it all. It seemed delicate and genuine. Too tender for the harsh office lighting and hallway chatter. I believed she valued it equally. That particular Friday evening, the melody shifted to the light clink of silverware and the hushed conversations around us at Bella Vita, our familiar haunt. A warm, modest Italian restaurant featuring plaid cloths and wax-dripped Chianti bottles serving as candle holders. We visited every Friday without fail. It marked the true beginning of our weekend, the point where masks could drop. She looked radiant under the soft glow, chuckling over an absurd client request, and a deep wave of emotion washed through me, almost painful in its intensity. This was the connection people search for endlessly. You seem especially cheerful tonight, I remarked, returning her smile. Fridays always lift me, she answered, her gaze twinkling. You're going to enjoy hearing this. Something amusing occurred earlier. I leaned closer, excited for her tale. I always love hearing them. I was grabbing coffee with Sarah and Mark. She paused to taste her Sauvignon Blanc. Sarah commented, Qley, you've been radiating happiness every Friday for ages. What's the reason? Dating someone special? My pulse quickened. The secret was leaking into the open. Our joy was becoming visible. A spark of satisfaction rose in me. Yes, she's with me. Go on, I urged, grin expanding. They figured it out? What was your response? She gave a breezy chuckle. The sound I once found enchanting. She locked eyes with me, her face showing easy, thoughtless mirth. I told them no one. Naturally, the phrase didn't register immediately. It lingered strangely between us. My expression must have shifted because hers remained fixed, mildly puzzled by my response. No one. I repeated, voice sounding distant. The background din of the place dimmed, replaced by a low hum inside my head. Exactly, she said with a small lift of her shoulders, like clarifying an obvious fact. She sipped again. Look, seriously. It's me. Those 2 syllables, once a declaration of affection, now struck like lead. She noticed my color fade and emitted another short laugh, this one uneasy. Liam, relax. Don't act so stunned. It's kind of awkward, right? Awkward? The term emerged hollow. Come on. Picture it, she continued, inching nearer as though we were still allies, this time against my dignity. Sarah was dying for details. She expected some executive from sales, or a physician, or anybody whose role sounded more glamorous than data cruncher. She uttered my position with a subtle, condescending edge. Admitting it's you? Just another desk in our section? They'd never let it go. Simpler to dodge that. Simpler. The melody vanished. The inviting atmosphere chilled and sharpened. I studied her, the person I'd shared nights, ideas, and quiet delight with, and recognized someone unfamiliar. The offhand harshness wasn't intentional. It was deeper. It was honest. It revealed exactly how she regarded me. I wasn't someone worth claiming. I was a source of discomfort. Our cherished hidden bond wasn't something she safeguarded. It was a flaw she concealed. Everything built over those months dissolved in one offhand remark. Reality didn't spin. It crystallized into brutal sharpness. The internal ringing grew louder, drowning out everything else. Her lips continued forming excuses or clarifications, but they reached me as silence. A heavy barrier dropped inside, blocking sound, pain, and her entirely. I observed detachedly. I caught the shift from lighthearted to bewildered, then to faint panic. She awaited my understanding, my chuckle, my acceptance that naturally our involvement deserved concealment like an awkward secret. I offered none. Instead, I acted. Movements automatic, precise, controlled. I signaled the server with a quick lift of my hand. "Liam, speak," Qley urged, tone sharpening with worry. "Seriously, you're not truly hurt, right?" It was lighthearted. "You take things too personally." The server approached. "Yes? Just the check, please," I replied evenly, almost mechanical. "Separate tabs." "Separate." Her pitch climbed. "What are you doing?" "Liam, stop. This isn't serious." I avoided her gaze, fixing on the server until he acknowledged and left. Then I looked at her directly. The usual softness had vanished, replaced by detached precision. Like reviewing flawed data. "You mentioned it was simpler that way." I stated flatly, emotion stripped away. "I'm following your lead. This simplifies everything." I retrieved my wallet deliberately. I counted precise cash for my portion, adding a solid gratuity. No lingering for cards. I sought absolute closure. "Liam, this is absurd," she whispered fiercely, shifting from unease to irritation. "You're blowing this up over nothing. You're discarding everything because of one careless remark." I set the bills down neatly arranged. I rose, sliding the chair back. It scraped audibly, a concluding note. What we shared, I corrected quietly, was apparently my solo illusion. "Farewell, Qley." I pivoted and departed. No glance backward. No hesitation. I exited Bella Vita, the door chime ringing pleasantly as I left. Outside, the crisp evening breeze struck me, and I inhaled deeply, as though breathing freely after months of restraint. During the walk home, I took out my phone. Hands calm. I located her contact, selected block, and confirmed instantly. Then erased our entire conversation history, wiping away our private world in seconds. Not driven by fury. Simply cleanup. Essential removal. The quiet in my place that weekend was absolute. Not the isolating quiet from before. It felt deliberate, restorative. Her lingering scent wasn't tormenting. It would dissipate naturally. No collapse. No tears. Emptiness, yes, but fertile emptiness, like a blank canvas awaiting renewal. Monday, I dressed sharply in a fresh navy shirt. I entered Nexitech at 8:58, routine intact. Pulse even, composed. She was visible right away, lingering near the break area. Her gaze locked on me, tense and weary. She appeared drained. Her lips parted, ready to speak. "Good morning," I offered neutrally, the identical greeting I'd give anyone else. I maintained pace. Passed by, attention already on upcoming priorities. Later that day, a message arrived in my personal inbox. From Qley Reynolds. Subject, "Can we discuss?" I responded promptly. Subject, "Can we discuss? Please direct all work-related matters to the shared team thread for proper documentation. Appreciate it, Liam." Sent. I set up an automatic filter routing her future messages to an infrequently monitored folder. Not spiteful, merely boundary setting, handled like any process optimization. This pattern solidified. I became a model of detached courtesy. In discussions, responses were brief, focus fixed elsewhere. In shared spaces, a brief, impersonal nod before moving on. My reserve formed an unbreakable barrier, and she began fracturing against it. I observed gradually. The assured woman who dismissed me so easily had faded, replaced by someone erratic and unsettled. Errors crept into her deliverables. On a stakeholder call, she faltered mid-sentence twice, cheeks burning with shame. Sarah and Mark, the exact ones from her anecdote, started registering it. I caught their worried glances toward her, then puzzled ones toward my complete indifference. The whispers I once dreaded now felt irrelevant. The talk had pivoted from speculation about us to concern over her visible decline and my seamless detachment. The quiet I maintained no longer protected only me. It confined her. She faced the repercussions of her own statement, and the office began noticing the tightening space. Yet for me, the environment regained tranquility. I had responsibilities. I had calm. That sufficed. For the moment. The Sigma Initiative celebration took place at the Copper Mug, a standard yet roomy pub in the city center. The full analytics crew attended, atmosphere heavy with obligatory festivity. I participated fully. Shared laughs at Ted's weak humor, chatted sports with Mark, inquired about Sarah's travel itinerary. Surface-level sociability perfected, never once directing attention her way. She orbited the edges, radiating agitation. I sensed her stare, her tension palpable. She downed Chardonnay steadily, refilling often. My consistent composure clearly unraveled her. She craved any breach in my steadiness, but received none. The opportunity arose as I headed back from the facilities. She stepped into my path in the dimly lit corridor returning to the main area. Sarah and Mark stood nearby at the bar counter, within earshot if voices escalated. Liam, wait. Her tone was hushed, strained. She blocked me directly, eyes large and shimmering. Her fragrance hit strongly, blended with wine's bite. This is crazy. You can't keep freezing me out indefinitely. I apologize, all right. I spoke poorly. I halted, but stayed upright, oriented toward the crowd, face blank. You should rejoin everyone, I suggested mildly, as though she obstructed passage. That was a dumb comment, she implored, volume increasing slightly. She clutched my sleeve, grip firm. A bold, claiming motion. I noticed Sarah glance, then avert her eyes, feigning disinterest. Please. I miss what we had. I miss you. I regarded her hand, then lifted my gaze deliberately to hers. Without force, I removed each finger methodically, touch impersonal and measured. You're drawing attention, Qley. I don't mind, she snapped. Her glance flicked toward the observers, betraying her concern. I felt humiliated because my feelings for you are so strong. I struggled to articulate it properly. It emerged badly. The revision. The effort to reframe her harshness as awkward fondness. Days earlier, it might have swayed me. Now it rang empty. I eased back a step, widening the gap. My words stayed quiet yet distinct, audible in the enclosed space. There's nothing left to clarify. We're colleagues. That's the extent of it. The statement carried total closure. No heat. No wound. Merely fact. I watched it strike her physically. Her complexion drained further. Her lip quivered, and for an instant, collapse seemed possible. I didn't linger for her response. I moved around her, returned to the bar, lifted my drink as if briefly interrupted by a minor inquiry. All good, Mark murmured. Perfect, I answered, sipping. Qley needed clarification on some Sigma records. Resolved. I avoided looking toward the corridor. Unnecessary. Her burning embarrassment radiated across the space. The imbalance she'd established had reversed completely. She now endured collective sympathy and speculation, while I stood as the steady professional compelled to deflect her frantic efforts. The individuals she'd feared telling had become spectators to her complete unraveling. That pub encounter ought to have concluded matters. For me, it did. For her, it launched a fresh, frantic chapter. Days afterward, my phone vibrated late at night. A message from an unsaved number, an earlier oversight now delivering her breakdown straight to me. Qley, sleep escapes me. Food holds no appeal. I notice the stares now. You've rallied them all against me. Was this your intention, to shame me publicly? I scanned it, registered nothing, resumed my reading. An hour passed. Another vibration. Qley, I apologized. What else is required? Do you need me on my knees? All right. I'm pleading. Please, Liam. This is unbearable. Come morning, one final lengthy outpouring, self-pity blending into bargaining, then revealing the authentic self from that dinner. Qley, forget it. You're emotionless. You never truly cared, or forgiveness would come. You relished the concealment, and now superiority through rejection. Enjoy your cold, vacant existence. You'll end up isolated forever, uncared for. No response needed. I stared at the explosive bitterness. No ache remained, only definitive finality. This was her essence. The flippant dismissal wasn't accidental. It defined her. The hallway desperation masked it. This text exposed the bedrock. I delayed replying. Gym session. Breakfast prepared. Waited until settled at my workspace, sunlight filling the tidy space, fresh brew steaming beside me. I felt steady, unburdened. Only then did I respond. Not truly for her. For my own record. The concluding note before sealing the chapter forever. Me. Qley, I've progressed. Your dinner remark didn't shatter me. It sharpened my perspective. What you seek isn't reconnection. It's validation from the person you once deemed unworthy. That version no longer exists. Limit contact to essential work topics only. Sent. No immediate dots. No follow-up. Pure quiet. The pristine quiet I'd reclaimed. I erased the full exchange. Removed her contact permanently. The final administrative cut. I surveyed my home. Not barren. Serene. Mine alone. Her trace had vanished entirely, supplanted by ordinary comforts. Coffee aroma, fresh linens. She attempted to diminish me, to render our link something disgraceful. In doing so, she unintentionally bestowed clarity about her character and the resolve to depart cleanly. She became simply a colleague, one I managed effectively, and I stood entirely liberated. Thanks for reading.